Welcome to the Fantasy Lounge.
Oh, hello. Welcome to our lounge.
That's right. I am Zach. That is Nolan. So I'm
That's
figuring
me.
out my directions there,
Left
and
and
uh,
right.
and and we are we're the Fantasy Lounge. This is
That's
fantasy football content for fans by fans, sponsored by Fantasy Football Advice Network or the fantasysportsadvice.com. You can hit either of those into the interwebs and find us.
that's
So
right.
uh,
Come hang
so
out. Come chat with us.
Here we are, Nolan. Week 10 done. Week 11 on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of leagues I found out through checking my own stuff have a trade deadline for this week. So,
Huh.
so
All right.
last week's trade stuff should have actually helped some people.
I've had a
Really?
lot of trades go down in the past 2 days in a lot of my leagues. Like a weird amount. I've never seen at the trade deadline this many trades actually go through.
Well,
Some
it's
active. We like to be active.
yeah, that's right. That's right. So, look, we had. I was trying to figure out a better way to say this earlier. I couldn't. Can I tell you? And I know that you're going to agree with me. The bye weeks from week 10 were horrible.
Hurt me bad.
I mean, it was like roster, like it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was.
You saw I showed you one of my leagues that I had the buys last week. It was I had to take out every single bench slot was taken up by a bye week in one of my leagues. It was rough. It had
Look, it
six
was
of my starters on bye.
it was only a 4 week bye, which is a big like a big bye week for teams, 4 teams on it. But it felt like
Mhm.
there's a ton of players on those
Yep.
teams. People were missing out. I didn't almost lose to a team without a quarterback, but that's the only
Hey,
bonus I had. Really.
almost though. You did it.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
it
Let
would
me
have
tell
been
you, I
different
forgot
if
to
you
tell
would
you
have.
after we figured that one out. I went to the guy in question, and I had like destroyed him the day before for daring to beat me without a quarterback. So I had to go humbly apologize for winning by
Oh,
a Chuba Hubbard stat correction. I think it's
shout
his
out.
second of the year that
Yeah, I
caused
think so
wins.
too.
Yeah,
Didn't and somebody in one of our other leagues lose because of that stat correction too?
yeah.
Oh, it was
No. Same player, different week.
the same player.
Whoever's doing
That's
Chuba's
funny.
stats needs to get it locked up. Okay,
That's
you're
fine.
messing
Nobody
with
watches
people's.
Panthers games anyways.
That's right. Well, you should. Chuba's great. You
Eh,
should. Well, look, before we got a bunch of stuff to cover. We're gonna hit some bye week stuff, some injury stuff. We're gonna do. I'm gonna surprise Nolan with some questions, and he might surprise me.
ooh,
But first, we're going to do the obligatory bye week prep.
that's right.
Okay. So this week we have Cardinals, Panthers, Giants, and Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because that's actually 4 teams that you might potentially miss. So Cardinals, you've got Panthers, you got
Kyler,
Chuba. Go
Kyler,
ahead.
Marvin, James Conner,
Yep,
Panthers, Chuba. Maybe if it's a
Chuba,
deep league, you got Xavier Leggett.
maybe. Or
Like
Jalen
me,
Cook.
I've got Xavier Leggett. Also, yeah, Jalen Coker. Shout out. One of the things we're probably going to talk about here in a minute. You want to just do it now since we're talking about the Panthers?
No, we'll come around to it.
Oh God. Okay.
I've got some other like stuff that's surprising us this year stuff, so
Okay.
we'll get to
All
that.
right. We'll save it. We'll save it.
That's right. We're gonna get to it.
Keep them
Okay.
on bated breath.
So yeah. Cardinals, you're gonna miss Kyler McBride, Harrison Jr., and then James Conner. For the Panthers, it's just Chuba probably, or maybe one of those two wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Giants, it's Tyrone Tracy,
Oh yeah.
surprisingly, and Marvin Harrison. Or
That's
not
right.
Marvin
Not
Harrison,
Marvin
the
Harrison.
better receiver, Malik Neighbors. And then for the Buccaneers, a bunch of guys.
A bunch.
You're
Yeah.
missing Baker. You're missing Kate Otten potentially, and then both of the running backs.
On the bright side for Tampa Bay, this just means you're 1 week closer. Mike Evans is still projected to come back next week after bye.
Oh, he's so great.
So it's might be looking up for a few people.
Yeah, they need that. They need that badly.
Yep.
They're starting to like those winnable, those close games that they were kind of doing okay on.
Mm-hmm.
Like you saw an example this past week where Mike Evans is the difference, I think, in a
Yep.
game like that. So,
Yep.
so yeah, look, I don't think these teams are as bad, but look, that's 4 running backs at least, or 5 running backs if I'm looking at it that you could potentially be missing. And in a world where running backs are good again this season, you can
This
like,
season has been crazy for running backs.
yeah, it's been great. You're gonna miss some of those guys, so do your prep, right? If you already missed waiver Tuesday because we record these on Thursday or Wednesdays going into Thursdays, but go check that out. Do your trades, get your season locked up. So, that's our bye week prep. We're out on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Hit me with one of these tough questions. Let's get it started. What do we got?
Well, I wanted to ask you. It's kind of the first big piece of news that we got this week, relative, because it's been kind of a quiet week, I think. Colts are bringing Anthony Richardson back. How do we feel about that?
I feel bad for Josh Downs. Feel bad for the receivers. Feel indifferent, really. I don't have any of those receivers because I didn't trust them with A-Rich, so I didn't get him on any of my teams, so it doesn't really affect me a whole lot. It does help whoever's got JT in your league, probably. If you look at his stats under A-Rich versus under Flacco, they were actually better under A-Rich, which is surprising. Probably has something to do with them keying on A-Rich's runs instead of his. Hurts all your receivers, though.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And it's not like Anthony Richardson was this like dynamic quarterback before.
Oh no, he's awful at throwing the football.
Yeah, before that, and not only is he awful at throwing the football, but we know for a fact he's not like driven to remain on the field and fight for your team.
Yeah,
right.
It's get a little head pat going on.
That's right. Yeah, dude. This is
maybe he has a Bryce Young though.
Yeah, Bryce Young's look pretty good.
Maybe he needed to sit out a week, like they sat Bryce Young for 2 weeks. He's come back looking like a different player.
But he's only A-Rich only had one game this season over 14 points, and that was week 1.
Oof.
Then he had an 11-point week and a 13-point week, and everything else is single digits. So there's tight ends with better stats than this. So he's been pretty poor. He's been injured. So yeah, I was interested to see what your thoughts are. See if it like sure, you hope that he went and sat for a week and grew. Like Bryce Young, I don't think it was emotional growth. I think he just went, let me not squander this opportunity. And Andy Dalton was pretty decent. And so far through 2 games, Bryce Young's looked good.
Yeah. So Anthony, the beginning of the season, he did look like he was in his head a lot. Like he had the most time in the league of all quarterbacks. He had the most time to throw the ball, and he just wasn't some of the time. So he was probably in his head a little. And I think that kind of might have just jolted him out of it a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think 1 week behind Joe Flacco being benched is like the difference maker for Anthony Richardson, where it might have been for Bryce Young.
Maybe
Anthony Richardson is a mega raw prospect. So I don't want people to think that I'm selling the guy out. I own him in Dynasty. Okay. I have him as a player on a roster in Dynasty. Okay. I just wanted to fix that phrasing. But and he's younger than a ton, like younger than Jaden Daniels. Yeah. Younger than Caleb Williams, like younger than all these other guys. So he's got tons and tons of time to develop. But one game behind Joe Flacco, I don't think it makes any bearing at all on this season.
What was it? Some crazy thing like he had only started like 13 games before he was drafted or something crazy like that. Since high school and college combined, he only started like 13 games at quarterback.
People just fell in love with like the athletic profile and the highlight plays they did get. So
trade him to the Saints and let him replace Taysom.
Yeah, hey, we're better than this, okay? We're like 14 episodes, 15 episodes. We can't be drinking at the same time, okay?
Hey,
well, it's fine.
We're starting a little late tonight, so I'm pretty far in right now. So bear with me. Any of you here listening, bear with me a little bit. I might get
it might get a little wild.
Might be.
So that was kind of my question from the news that we got this week. We don't have any like crazy.
Oh, the other big one, T-Law confirmed out this week also.
Yeah, T-Law second week out, right? Mac Jones was kind of not impressive.
Awful.
Yeah.
Just bad. So he was missing screen passes. Yikes. So it was big fucking yikes.
So it's actually kind of funny when you look at it. So he had 100% of the snaps. He had 5.24 points, but because he had a negative 1.1 game earlier this year, he's got 4 total points in the season.
Yikes.
Let's go, Mac Jones.
Oh, God,
another one of those Alabama quarterbacks awful.
It's just bad.
the pans out, you know. Oh, yeah, that's you. That's you.
They're like Ohio State quarterbacks.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Minus CJ Stroud, hopefully.
Well, we'll see. He has not
He's
looked
not.
near as good this year as he has last year.
Speaking of that, in not a second too soon, Nico Collins should be back this week.
Shout out. It's trade
Practicing.
deadline. If you can get him on a
It's probably too
this week,
late.
go and get him.
It's probably too late. I would love to get him, but I think it's too late. Probably.
Probably. You're probably a week too late to do it.
Yeah. Now that the comeback's on the horizon, I think you probably missed it.
Yeah, but God, if you can though.
But you don't know. You know, maybe. Dear Lord.
But if you look at CJ Stroud's numbers, weeks 1 through 5, where he played, minus the New England game because they have an awful defense, his numbers are drastically better with Nico on the field.
Yep, I agree with that. Look, Nico Collins should be back practicing up. We kind of jumped into our injury news stuff, but that's I like
whatever.
It. I like it.
We're jumping around.
Nolan, what a seamless transition that was.
That's right.
DK, he's been out since week 7.
I need so bad, and the league I care about, he's been sitting on my bench. Waiting back.
Yeah, he's been out since week 7. We don't have an IR because we're savages in this league, so you just got to keep a guy.
Not even questionable, just full practice today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and they've needed it. They need the deep threat because defenses have been just queuing in because they can't go down the field hardly at this point. Like JSN can kind of do it, but not to the level that DK can. I know there's a lot of DK haters in this world. I'm not one of them.
I am a DK hater relative to the hype he gets. He is a fine wide receiver, but he is not at 6'4" and a 440, split. The last time we saw a guy like relative to that, he was the best receiver in the league. So maybe that's Megatron's fault for creating a ceiling so high for those kinds of guys. But he falls kind of in the you probably want him on your team, but he's just okay,
Shout out the most wasted player of all time.
Yeah, it might be true. It might be a Geno thing, although we kind of like Geno.
Oh no, I was talking about Megatron.
Oh, yeah.
He was wasted on that team.
Yeah, so Nolan, Lions players, Matt Stafford wasted on that team. Barry Sanders wasted on that team. Megatron wasted on that team.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, they squander. But current Lions, pretty good.
Yeah, that's right.
It's got to be the only team. Or there were stats around it. I know there was. I don't have it prepared. When was the last time a team turned the ball over 5 times and still won? Like that feels like
got to be real low. That number
not a never, but a very like one of those like 1 in 500, and now it's 2 in 500 or like 501, something crazy like that. Yeah, no doubt. So another 2 that I wanted to talk about. One that has apparently no bearing on the team, but is still an injury to update. And then another one is
that's a fucking stat. There are 2 teams tied for most turnovers and still win the game. The Rams and Bears have it at 9 turnovers.
That's gross,
and still win a game.
That sounds like one of those where like you look at it and they're like they played each other and they really just tied.
That's a made up stat. It feels like a made up stat, but God, 9 turnovers and win the game.
I thought 5 was impressive. Five's
nothing. Hey, man, do better. Hey, do better. Get more turnovers.
Aspire to more turnovers. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to jump into these 2 kind of injury updates and how it affects that. So the first one is if you're a Bills wide receiver, a Bills receive catcher, like someone who could potentially receive a ball for the Bills and you're not a running back, you're probably hurt or have an injury designation. Yeah. Okay. Keon is out. Amari is questionable. Dalton Kincaid is questionable. So we're back to the Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel rule for the Buffalo. That sucks. That sucks. Now, I know that Josh Allen's been okay and the Bills have been fine, but what would they look like this season with like everybody there and everybody healthy the whole time? He's Josh Allen's QB5, 18 points last week, which is not his best. He's got several 20-point games and a 35-point game, but it is his 3rd worst game of the season, and all these dudes are out. And now they've got, of course, who do they have this week with all of his guys hurt? Kansas City. The team he can't get past.
It's the cripple game.
Yeah. Yeah, so that stinks. And so, I just wanted, there's not much to prep you for that. I don't know that those guys actually make Khalil Shakir or Curtis Samuel relevant.
I mean, Khalil Shakir's very relevant. He's wide receiver 19 on the year.
Let's see. How much of that was before and after? No, he's been better.
Fine.
Yeah.
He's been a very solid, playable
player. Khalil Shakir, all in one. Curtis Samuel, and I'll tell you, my exposure for Curtis Samuel was high going into the season. He's irrelevant.
Also, James Cook too. We don't sell off James Cook, but
yeah. Hey, no, look, I was not a James Cook truther. He's been insane.
He's looked like Dalvin this year. Some might say.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy how that works.
Oh, bro, they I know they're big brother, little brother. They could be twin brother and twin brother.
Oh, speaking of this game though, isn't Pacheco coming back this week?
No, he's off of IR. They opened his practice window.
Oh,
okay. I don't think he's actually back. Let's see.
Pacheco
officially limited practice Wednesday. Let's see. Unlikely to play week 11. Hopeful.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Hopefully he's better the next week.
Y'all one more time.
Yeah, just kick me off.
I'm calling you out. I'll do this solo.
No, we can't do that.
Could you fucking imagine?
It'd be great. You know what? I'd get 2 solo episodes. We gotta get a Nolan solo. And then
I might get a solo episode in here. That'd be fun.
That'd be
for
sick.
all of you.
It was dope. It was dope.
The 2 people that watch these things.
My mother-in-law asked for the YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah, and I said no judging.
3 watchers.
Yeah, I said no judging. So, all right. And then the other one is T. Higgins. T. Higgins is we talked about it. We mentioned this maybe last week before. This dude's going to have an injury designation every freaking week.
Every week until he's not on that team.
He's missed last 3, so these have been legit, but he was questionable before those. But let me tell you this, Nolan, it does not affect Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Not
at all.
One freaking bit.
Nope.
So T. Higgins is good enough that if he, you got to watch the status to see if he's on your team. He's a wide receiver too. He's a very rosterable player. But it sucks if you're in a league like us where you don't have an IR and a guy like him is hurt every week.
Yep.
So yeah, I want to talk about that. Let's lead.
It does help. Mike Gesicki though.
That's true.
It was very much the wide receiver 2 on that team. Because it feels like Sovis and Burton are kind of fighting for wide receiver 3, but Gesicki, I feel like if T's not there, is definitely the second option. Dude got 9 targets. He didn't have a great last week. He only had 4 receptions for 30 yards, but he had 9 targets. If a couple more of those hit, it'd be a very different game.
There was nothing to go around for him last week. Joe Burrow, I know he had 9 targets, but
he had eyes for one man.
He only had eyes for the one guy. Okay. Let's talk about week 10 stuff a little bit.
Let's talk about that stat real quick while we're here.
Yeah. You know the stat.
Craziest stat I've ever heard. He is now, Jamar Chase is the only receiver to ever have 260 yards receiving in his career twice. Only receiver to ever do it. Not Megatron, not Randy Moss, none of them. Jamar Chase, only one to do it.
6 foot, by the way. He's actually below average height. He's just that guy.
He moves so smooth, man.
Can we see it?
Him?
Can we see when was the 50-point game against Arizona? Did they win that one? Because he had 50 points this week and lost, which sucks, man. Oh my God,
he had 3 touchdowns that week too. It's disgusting.
Yeah, he had 19 targets, 15 receptions for 192 and 3. He had way more yards this time. Less catches, but way more yards. So that's the difference between the 2. Still insane. No, it was fun because out of the top 10 players this week, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those guys were skill position players, not quarterbacks. So I think you loved it.
There's a wild one in there too that I feel like you're glossing over, but you want to talk about so bad.
Oh no, we want to talk about it. No, I've got it. I've got
it. Want to talk about it so bad.
I'm gonna let it lead us to 2 other ones. Okay. So the non-skill position players for week 10 that were top 10. I like that. Jamar was player 1. He was insane. 55 points. killed it. It sucks they lost. Like that would probably like haunt me in my sleep, but an all-time of a fantasy game and a real life game. Bijan was player 6. I feel like Bijan kind of quietly is actually having an okay season. Running back 3. Like,
quietly running back 3.
No, he feels like, I'll say this, he feels like Rachaad White from last year. Like, I'm not getting all these highlights. I'm not getting like
it feels like since week 6 they've stopped using Algier so much. Like there for the first few weeks they were definitely a 1A 1B, but he's definitely taken over as a workhorse on that team. So it makes sense.
We talked about there's a show we have this year where week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we were listing Bijan as like a dude who didn't live up to draft billing, right? Like there were players that were better. And you're right, since week 6, 20 points every week, 20 plus every week. So good for you, Bijan, at player 6. I'm going to skip over the guy because, like I said, it's going to lead us on a small bit of a tangent.
Oh my God.
Calvin Ridley, player 9.
Shout out.
Let's go, Calvin Ridley. We knew you
the
had
double touchdowns is what got him on that one.
Hey, TDs count as points too. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, right. Like his he tripled his yearly total. He had 1, now he has 3. So like great for him. And then Chuba, player 10. Look out for Chuba. Earned that. Ooh, we that happened between last week and this week. Chuba Hubbard with the contract extension.
That's right.
4 years.
So do you think that means they're gonna just? We thought Brooks was going to come back this week, and if not this week, next week. Does that really kind of slow that comeback, do you think?
I think it's a twofold thing. I think it absolutely slows his the Jonathan Brooks play in because the Panthers clearly aren't competing. So like, what's the point? But B, the Lions are really exploding on it this year. And last year they were great. And the Saints used to do this with Reggie Bush and Mark Ingram, but the 2 running back like tandem, not the committee where it's a bunch of guys, but two elite guys is a huge difference maker for your team. So I think that a big piece to play is they know they've got Chuba and then they've got Jonathan Brooks. Hopefully next year it's going to come back. And they thought like 2 running backs that are that good makes your quarterback's job much, much easier.
Yep.
So no, shout out to Chuba. Great season so far and earned that 4-year contract, dude. Great job on that. The player we missed in the top 10, who is a skill position guy,
give it to us.
New Orleans Saints player Marcus Valdes-Scantling.
Hey.
Player 8 on the year, player 8 this week. Let me see. I wanted to pull this up. I didn't have a chance. Does he have a finish like at all that high in his career? So, all right. He's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 4 points or 5 points before this game, and he has 26.9 points, which ties him for if the season ended right now, he would end with the same like positional rank as he had all of last year through 16 games with the Chiefs. So dude came out.
He hasn't had a 20-point game since 2021.
Yeah, that's my guy right there. Okay. He came out, first game with the Saints, signed in the middle of the week, by the way. 3 receptions, which is the most Marcus Valdes-Scantling thing ever. 109 yards for 2 touchdowns, averaged 36 yards per catch. Yep. So to be clear, average viewer, because that's our thing, 36 yards is not in frame when they throw the ball. Like that's a far pass, and they're not in frame. When you throw the ball 36 yards, camera has to pay in some to get to that. And he averaged that on 3 catches with 2 touchdowns. Great first game. Nolan, did you forecast the MVS breakout for the New Orleans Saints?
If anybody says they forecasted them, they're a liar. If anybody says they saw this coming, they're full of it.
The lunatics who dug deep enough in their DFS lineups to add him on there made some money last week. Like that was that jumped their stuff up. They were losing money because they saved a bunch of money picking him in their flex spot, and then that dude like absolutely put them in the cash. So look, he probably won't have 26 points over the next like 5 weeks for the Saints, but he had 26 points on that day, Nolan. And New Orleans Saints with their new interim head coach got a win against the Falcons. That's awesome. Okay, let me lead us on a small tangent.
All right.
It was kind of a week for weird wide receiver results. Okay, there were 2 others, 3 total that I thought were interesting. So the first one was the MVS Saints game. Awesome. Cool to see him as player 8 on the week, 2 touchdowns. And it, of course, it was for my Saints. The next one was Nolan. Did you foresee the Tylan Wallace breakout?
No, I can't get over how fucking Lannister his name is though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tylan.
I had never heard this guy's name ever in my life before this weekend.
No, I thought you would like this. If the season ended today, he would have his best finish ever in his career. In 4 years, he would have his best positional finish.
Hey, if you
Right.
add all the points together he's gotten the rest of his career, it doesn't equal what he got.
I know. It was wild. It's one of those things you can't account for. You know he sat on waivers. And you know there were some crazy people that picked him up this week. Guys, this isn't a Tylan Wallace ascendancy.
No.
But he did have kind of a weird game.
Well, let's be real. I just clicked his name. It's 0% rostered, 0% started. Nobody.
There's a point something. It's just they did the arrow so that the percentage
Close
just
enough
rounds.
to 0.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no way somebody has him.
But he was wide receiver 4 this week. Okay, and that's on a list where we had some pretty good wide receivers this week. Like Marcus Valdes-Scantling. Okay.
Oh my God! Shut up.
The other one I wanted to shout out was let me pull it up so I can accurately tell. I don't want to mess the years up. Okay, so for the first time in 3 years, John Mechie caught a touchdown.
There it is.
That's awesome.
Finally, we've been waiting for this to happen.
That is as cool a story of fantasy football or regular football or life as you want. This guy got into the league, played at Alabama, and in his rookie year was diagnosed with a type of cancer. Took him off the map for his rookie year. He played all of last year, 16 games, almost all of last year, so 16 games, and had 32 points.
Yep.
Completely irrelevant.
There's just too many other weapons on that team.
Yeah, they got a lot going on. So it was cool that with Stephon Diggs out and Nico Collins out, that he finally got a shot at it and got his touchdown.
Yep.
That was cool. That's almost his best total ever. He's at 26 points on the year. Here we are giving time to guys. 3 guys. No, I love it. 3 guys who don't have 30 points on the year total. But he got 26 points. He's 6.2 points away from his best ever finish. So
there you go.
Shout out John Mechie. That was my week 10 stuff, Nolan.
There you
go. Let's do a rookie quarterbacks.
Caleb Williams looked fucking awful.
Yeah. So
I couldn't contain it. I tried to hold it in.
The thumb is the worst for Nolan. Okay, so you're starting go from like the pinky now. Pinky's number 1.
Pinky's number 1 is obviously Jaden Daniels. He's looked excellent.
It's got to be Jaden Daniels.
The happiness you see on Scary Terry's face every week is wild. This dude's never had so much fun in his career.
He's QB6 on the season as a rookie. That's awesome.
Okay, excellent. 2?
Bo Nix.
Yeah, it's got to be right.
And I think of all of the group that we're going to go through, I think he's the guy I thought the least of.
Oh yeah, 100% agree.
I thought this was a complete waste of a pick. I just thought he was okay in college, which didn't lean itself to a great situation in the NFL. And of course, I should have trusted our longtime coach Sean Payton, who's now at the Broncos, to scheme and plan around this guy, and he gets better every week. And they're learning what he can do better every week. And
he's the next Drew Brees.
I don't think he's the next. He's more athletic. Okay, he's kind of significantly more athletic, but we talked about this. He ain't got the gumption like Drew Brees did. Like he's like this quiet, like kind of reserved guy. You remember every time that media asks him a question, he just gives this straightforward, like how'd you throw that pick? He goes, "Oh, I looked up and I threw it right at the defender." You know, like he's kind of deadpan, but he's getting better. Like of the 4 rookies we're going to talk about, I think he's the clear number 2. The other 2 almost shouldn't have qualifying results, but one of them's pretty good. So at 3, so we have Jaden Daniels, we got Bo Nix. That means we're going to skip the other finger, Nolan, because family audiences. So we're going to the pointer finger. Nope, that's not better either. That's not better either. It's Drake May, right?
Yeah, he's just looked better. The team. The Patriots as a whole just looked completely changed once he took over from Bissett.
Which is good, because most of the team sucks. Ramondre has been ass this year.
Don't talk about my boy Pop like that.
No, Pop's fine. Okay, but the team, you look at the Patriots roster and you just kind of go like, like
Yep.
this. It's not exciting. Drake, their rookie quarterback actually, and that's what you hope is probably the most exciting thing about it.
Yep.
But yeah, Drake May.
And then we're stuck with Caleb.
Caleb Williams has sucked, man.
There for the beginning of the season, he looked fine, and then I feel like he's just been regressing.
He was
Since like
intriguing.
post bye week, he's been regressing.
So first 2 weeks, even he was 7 points both first 2 weeks. It was the preseason where he was so intriguing and he was making kind of these circus throws and kind of doing crazy stuff. You kind of mired through the season. You know, he played some bad. He played Indiana or in Indianapolis, kind of a weak squad. He played, Carolina and Jacksonville and dominated. And you're going like, oh, here we go, Caleb Williams. No, dude, he played weak teams. Look, he just played Washington, who are not a good secondary. Like Washington's that team. If you have a receiver playing against their defense, stream them. Like they've got shots. 9 points. Arizona, another secondary that's an absolute dumpster fire. 9 points. And then New England, who as a team are scrappy. Like it's kind of a frustrating team to play, but it should have been a win. He had 6 points. Yep. Caleb Williams sucks right now. He's just not playing well.
We'll see what happens. Didn't they just fire their OC too, though?
Yeah, Eberflus. Someone put a clip from the Batman movie where Bane went, "They expect one of us at the rubble, brother," and he fired his OC. Like, so look, the coaching staff's probably gone, man. They have to be. But the OC didn't make it. He was the first axe to fall on that. So
I'm sure he's not the last either.
I think for me, it's a very clear 1 to 4. Like it's Jaden and then big chunk down Bo, then big chunk down Drake. But that gap's closing in the middle, not taking away from Bo. Just Drake's pretty good, and then way down here for qualifying snaps, it's Caleb Williams, and then you got guys like Michael Penix, who we don't know we don't know anything
give
about.
My boy a shot.
Spencer Rattler.
He was my number one.
Saints.
I'm so sad Michael Penix got taken to a team with an actual established quarterback. I wanted him to be so good.
Yeah. So, that's our rookie quarterbacks. Yep. Hey, I want to talk to you about some running backs. Some of these are rookies. Some of them are not. But it's been kind of a weird year. Actually, all of them. We look at the 1, 2. Yeah, they're all rookies. So it's been a weird year for running back results. We talked about that. Running backs are kind of ascending this year. People were really kind of popularizing the zero running back approach and stuff like that. And if you did that this year, you're probably hurting.
Bad year to do it.
But we've had some weird results. So I just wanted to go over some of these rookie running backs who are either taking over their backfields, miring the results for their guys, or have just been really good when given opportunities. So we'll start kind of low on my list and go up. We'll just talk about it. So the first one is Ray Davis for the Bills. So there's not like a road to like feature work because James Cook is great, but he's got an injury history. And Ray Davis in the last couple of weeks when available has been awesome. We talked about him in the preseason. We talked about the first 2 weeks. I 7 receiving touchdowns his last year at Kentucky. Like he has showed that kind of stuff the last couple of weeks. So Ray Davis with the Bills first off. Second would be Braylon Allen for the Jets. He's just screaming for a Breece Hall injury before he gets like feature back stuff.
Yeah, there for a minute they were doing like the first few weeks they were doing the running back 1A 1B kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they've gone full Breece, which is fine. Breece is a fantastic running back.
Full Breece.
Twisted. Breece, excellent running back.
Yeah,
but if he goes out, Braylon Allen could pull the Tom Brady. You get hurt, your backup comes in and shows out.
Yep. He's super intriguing. Like in Dynasty, he's absolutely rosterable. Okay. In redraft, unless you have deeper leagues, probably not. Unless you have, if you have Breece, I would have him. But anyone else, like if you're just cooking people's handcuffs, I wouldn't cook that one. Next would be Bucky Irving. So, like let's see on the season. Let's see.
So they're almost in that like Monty Gibbs range for me with Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. If you get both of them, they're very much both playable.
Yep. where you would say Montgomery and Gibbs are both RB1 playable options, these
Mhm.
guys are probably both flex playable options.
Yep.
Like if you've got either of them, you can flex them and be fine.
Yeah,
He's
be happy.
as a rookie, he's RB23, and like the first couple of weeks, he was totally irrelevant. Like week 1, 9 points, week 2, 2 points.
Yep.
But he's miring it for Rachaad White. Rachaad White's still putting up respectable points. But Bucky's the reason Rachaad White's not going to have another top 5 or top 8 finish, because he's been really good.
Yeah, well, they're also it helps that the two best receivers on that team are hurt because they're both excellent receiving backs. So they've kind of with them and K Naughton, they've kind of filled the void of not having any of your good receivers because you're not going to give the ball to fucking Sterling Shepard.
Baker said, "Don't worry about it. We got guys."
So he's just going to do it with both running backs and the tight end. And so with Evans coming back next week, we'll see.
Yeah.
But they've both been excellent. They're both RB2s. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah, that for sure. After that, Tyrone Tracy. All right, so we're entering took the backfield over stuff. Tyrone Tracy, like Devin Singletary is probably he's rosterable as the backup, but he's not rosterable if you don't have Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, he's just he's been around forever. You know what you're getting. He's a fine running back. But with Tracy, he kind of took the Tony Pollard route. He's a converted receiver.
Cordero Patterson. He took the
Cordero Patterson.
Yeah.
There's solid dudes that were good at their position, but so you get them on the field, and he's just they've put him in a place to where they can get him on a field because he's just so explosive.
Yep. So look, Tyrone Tracy is big. Again, another rookie running back. Here's the last one. So he just had kind of his first big week, but the backfield as a whole there has been so pedestrian that I think we need to look out. And it's not even a big week. Like it was big from a view perspective or what it meant. It was a big week, but that's Audrey Estime.
So
it's fine.
He doesn't look good. He
ran a 4.7. But the backfield has been so pedestrian,
so bad that they just gave it to the next guy because Javonte's looked bad. McLaughlin's looked.
We don't even need to talk about McLaughlin.
Well, I mean, he was the first running back on the field last week.
Yeah.
So he did have the first drive to himself, which is not saying nothing.
This is how bad Javonte has regressed from his 26-point week. So right on cue 4 weeks ago when Nolan and I said give up on Javonte, it's over, he had 26 points. Last week against KC, he had 1 carry.
We missed it by 1 week. Sorry.
Yep. All you people, Tyler included, was like, oh, Javonte is still back. He's still here. He's still good. No. Bro, he had 1 carry in a game where they needed players. So, but yeah, I just thought it was cool to look at some of these rookie running backs who, like I said, they're either muddy in the water for the other guys or they're like an injury away from feature back stuff.
Yep. So the fun thing I saw, speaking of rolling back to Estime a little bit, I was in a chat earlier and somebody said they don't believe the starting running back for the Broncos is on the roster right now for next year. Which I can 100% believe because none of them look good. They all just look all right. Minus Javonte, he looks bad. But McLaughlin, we know who he is. We've known who he is. Estime came in. I mean, he doesn't excite you. He's just a big body. He doesn't cut very well. It's just fine. But if you see them come up with a running back next year in the draft, snag that guy. Because that's probably going to end up being the running back one for them next year. Because none of these guys are it.
Yeah. No. And we've talked about this and we'll cover it more, get into the end of the season. But especially for dynasty leagues, it's a good running back class. It's
it's an excellent running back. It's the best running back class we've seen in a few years.
Yeah. And there are guys that even in college that aren't currently playing super great that should be really good running backs in the NFL. Like Quinshon Judkins has not played well the last couple of weeks, and he's going to be fine in the NFL.
I thought you were going to say Ollie, and we were going to fight.
No, Ollie Gordon, whatever, man. We're not talking about. He doesn't
He
get screen
looks
time.
so fucking bad.
Yeah, he doesn't get screen time. I'm starting to think and I don't have his size right for me. I think he's too big. Like
You think
he's
so?
not like,
How big
yeah,
is this
he's
dude?
not like Derrick Henry, strong, but I think he's big. Let's see. Just want to see 6'2".
Oh, he is fucking big.
He's big, but he's not the same kind of
6'2",
strong.
225. That's a fucking big dude.
But you got to play strong if you're going to be big, dude. So yeah. Nolan, last little stupid thing for me. I save stupider stuff for the end of the show. Nolan might just have stuff we didn't get to. Can we relax on celebrating stuff? Okay. For the love
Stop
of
hurting
God.
yourself. Shit.
Here's what you got. Some of your celebrations are awesome. Okay, we had the guy for the Vikings making fun of Ray Gunn. That was
that was a good one. It was perfect too.
And then for every one of those, you've got 10 of Odell Beckham blowing out Tyreek Hill's back on the play, or
still the funniest fucking headline.
Or and this is many years ago. It's just another example. Terrell Suggs like blowing his knee out after sacking the quarterback, like celebrating plays. I'm telling you, I had this idea. I still think it's awesome because it would be hilarious. I would bonus my players to not celebrate. You do something awesome and you immediately just drop the ball, walk off the field. I swear to God, I would bonus them. I'd be like, oh, that's $500 in your pocket, bro. $1,000, whatever. Boom, in your pocket. Thank you for just getting back to the game. I like the celebrations a lot, especially the good, clever ones.
Mm-hmm.
But man, when you get hurt doing it, you just look like such a dummy.
Yeah, that one hits close to home too. Demir Blankenship did the Ronaldo celebration and
badly
twisted his knee, and we lost to UTSA because of it.
Badly.
Thanks to that. It was.
He did it. Look, the key thing to that celebration is feet same time.
You land right, and he twisted he landed and like hurt his knee.
Yeah, he landed like this with the leg hitting first, and like it looked like he blew his knee out.
I'm glad he didn't. We're not 8-1 right now. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's right. So that was my last little thing, Nolan. What else you got for us before we get out of here?
Do I have anything crazy? I mean, I've got some little stuff I was kind of wanting to talk about, but nothing just wild.
Dolphins still suck.
Dolphins are awful. Only play A-Chain. What the fuck is going on with them this year, man? Like, their offense was so they scored 72 points one game last year. They have the exact same team.
Let me tell you what we're finding out. We're going to find out definitively through the course of this year and how next year starts if Mike McDaniels is actually that coach or not.
If he can change it up enough to still stay relevant.
Yep, because we're going to find out if they didn't just figure it out.
Yep.
A la Cliff Kingsbury, although right now his offense looks insane. Or if he's going to fall off the map. Like is he Sean McVay? Or is he one of these guys that like was a 1-year head coach or 2-year head coach and then gets replaced? Yeah. So we had some really exciting years from him, but nothing changed and they're worse this year. They've had injuries. Yes, they've had injuries, but you still have to win games. Yeah. Like
Tyreek torn ligament in his hand. Sounds fucking awful.
Yep.
Playing through it.
Yeah.
What else do I have on here? Deontay Johnson. I told you so.
Yes,
I told you so.
I wonder if we was gonna get past that.
Oh, hey, we're not getting past. I'm not letting.
He ran 3 routes and was targeted on 2 of them. Yeah. He had a 66.6% target chance if he ran a route. That's got to be good.
How many catches does he have?
That's elite. None.
How many routes did he run total? You said 3 a whole game.
Yeah.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, but when he's out there. Yeah, 2 targets, 1 reception. Bro, he catches 50% of the balls that come his way. Is that good? That's probably not good in the NFL, right?
No, it's pretty. Yeah.
That's really bad.
Pretty
right?
bad.
It's bad because isn't this the same league where 3 drops in a year is kind of bad? It's real bad.
Yeah. Didn't Larry Fitz have 4 his entire career or something?
More career tackles than drops.
Yeah, it's just fucking wild stat for a receiver.
The best players are gone already. It's okay.
Yeah, well,
it's fine. Cool.
Yeah, great.
That's all I got.
Good team.
Hey, we made it. Look, this is another episode in the books. We appreciate you guys. For those of you who are actually watching this, we can't thank you enough. Come check us out on the fantasysportsadvice.com. Check us out on the feeds and view this on YouTube. We appreciate the views. Give us a like. Give us some comments.
Give us a comment.
Yeah.
Give me a comment. Hey, you want to argue? Get in the comments.
Yeah, and look, let me tell you this about Nolan. This cat loves to argue.
I
Okay,
love it. I do love it.
He's waiting for interaction to get in there and throw down. So that's week the week 11 episode going into week 11. So we look forward to see what that looks like for that, and then talk about it with you guys next week. So I'm Zach. That's Nolan. This is the Fantasy Lounge. We'll see you guys next time.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.